Dire team. Radiant team.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation bringing you guys a game between Team Dignitas and Alliance. We're going to be going on into Game 3 of this Best of 3 series here. It's been a pretty interesting one, most definitely. Magnus and Enigma in the last one, just back and forth, dropping some big initiation bombs, but either way, it does go the way of Team Dignitas, so they answer back 1-1, and we get to see Game 3. Very exciting series, and obviously a very decisive one. This is the last one of the season, and it will determine exactly what's going to be going on for the playoffs that's going to be occurring this weekend here. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited to see how it plays itself out, but once again, I am Blaze, and joined here with me is Fanatics No Tail. How's it going, man?
Hey man, doing good, doing good. Looking forward yet again to the final game of this series. So maybe more interesting picks and strats. Very interesting so far, both in game 1 and 2. So.
Yeah, very back and forth. I really loved Alliance's play the first game, but they didn't seem to really click with their action in the second one. They tried to go for a couple of different objectives there, and whereas Team Dignitas made a lot of mistakes game 1, they didn't let that slide in game 2. They were pretty much on point with their team fights, with their initiation, and making it how they wanted to. I mean, there were a couple of deaths, like with the Nake's bombs on the Storm Spirit, that they could have avoided if they had a little bit more foresight, but nevertheless, I kind of felt like that was their game to lose. They had a lot more control, and owie, farming away on that gyro. Really, really impressive to see. Who do you think has the advantage going on into this final game?
10 seconds.
Alliance went with first pick and Dignitas went with Dire. But I think that Alliance is coming out with a better, not even a better trade-off, I'd say. Oh wow, this is very interesting. There's so many heroes left in the pool that you really want.
Yeah.
But they did ban the Darkseer, which is the perfect hero for Dignitas' kind of play, and then they did really well with it. This is very interesting. Now they left Mag and Nakes, and I wonder if they're gonna go with both. But yeah, again, Dignitas is getting some heroes they really like. They way back when they used to run some different kind of strats, they always wanted a Coddle. They wanted Coddle paired up with a Naga Siren or a Phantom Lancer, and they love to turtle, and they love to drag it on into late game. And now I'm guessing that they're again looking for that gyro carry on trialing, getting most of the farm in the game and doing his thing. So yeah, both teams getting the strats they want, the strats they're comfortable with. But I do like Alliance denying them the Darkseer this game around, which they did first game where they also won.
Of course.
Very interesting again.
I like the combo. I like seeing this come out. EGM's played an amazing Leshrac previously. I mean, Aki's picked him up before, but most likely, the one that I've seen the most in the past handful of days has been definitely EGM picking it up and landing some amazing splitters, getting some really good initiation off. If they go with like a Shadow Demon, I'd expect him to pick up the SD more so, but in this position, it's still just a very powerful hero that offers a lot of different things. Not very orthodox when you consider how many heroes are still available in the pool. Nyx Assassin last draft didn't get hardly a mention at all, and in this position here, they're drafting very dynamically. They're more towards their own style, and I think that greatly suits them. One thing that'll be changed up quite a bit for Team Dignitas here is that Fogged plays their offlane Clockwork, at least most of the time, or he runs it as support in a tri-lane. Usually we see Universe on that offlane, but I haven't seen too much from his clock, so I'm curious to see what Fogg's going to be doing with that hero specifically, and along with that, they leave their mid open. The Magnus is there. They're forcing out the ban of the Puck, probably the Queen of Pain, maybe even an old school Templar Assassin, but they want S4 to win mid on the Magnus, and Team Dignitas has a lot of different options to still flexibly make that happen, avoid that from happening.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see the bans coming out now as well, if they're actually gonna go with denying the Nakes, because maybe, I'm not 100%, but Dignitas might be one of the few teams that don't like to run Nakes, so they might not spend a ban on it, and at the moment they have the gyro for the farming role, which I'm guessing like that's the normal kind of role they put the gyro on, so they might just not go with banning the Nakes, which is a good hero against Lone Druid, and arguably okay, so they actually decided to ban the Nakes. Now that makes sense. That's a pretty good ban. Even though I do think Alliance is gonna go with a different kind of hero for Dota this game, pairing up like there's so much late game potential. Having Mag and Lone is already pretty good for late game, but adding another hero is just, yeah, because Mag going late game is always great, Sula going late game is always great, and then another hero. Yeah.
Yeah, and
But,
Alliance spanning out pretty predictably as well. That's kind of what I was looking at there, those mid, taking those heroes off the board. There's a couple of pocket picks that I could see Team Dignitas running in this situation. First of all, if they run the Gyrocopter as a non-number 1, if they run him like as a mid or something, they could still go with the Phantom Lancer, and along with that they have the Shadow Demon and the Bane both available. So if they really, really did want to just go gung-ho for the late game, they do technically still have that option available, and that's something that Alliance needs to respect. But along with that, also, I've seen them run a lot of times the Gyrocopter with the Warlock. I don't think they'll pick it up this game based on the fact that, again, Fogged is the one that plays both that Warlock and the Clockwork, along with the fact that they haven't really run Warlock hardly at all since the role switch with Snaking and Fogged. But nevertheless, it's something that they've played before, and you know there's surprises around every corner. So I could see it happening, but nevertheless, it's difficult in this situation. What they want to avoid the most is push. Leshrac is push oriented with the Diabolic Edict. Lone Druid very, very much so with the Spirit Bear. So the Juggernaut ward on top of that, it would probably be too much for them to handle, and that's something to be a great concern. But to finish out my thought, Alliance also has a couple pocket picks of their own. Specifically, I'm thinking the Dragon Knight could be extremely powerful in this situation, based on the fact that they have so much push once he hits level 6.
10 seconds
Yeah, that
remaining.
could be an option, but they rarely run the DK strat without Chen, and
Well,
I don't
they could
think
get
they're
Chen.
gonna go with Chen. Nah, but
Oh,
the problem is with Chen, they usually like to pair it up with a stunner, which most teams do. Like going in with a Leshrac is not that great because you can't really roam around, say like getting safe kills or something like that. Obviously, the push would be great, but the times I've seen Alliance run DK is with Wisp Chen or the Chen is always there with it, and I don't think they're gonna
Sure.
run Chen with a Lesh.
Yeah.
But interesting bands though when you look
Ogre
at
Magi.
it.
Oh, this
that's
is
so great.
classic. Oh
Yeah,
my
this
goodness.
is great. If they add a carry now, there's no two picks that can really put Dignitas into like having the better late game. Almost like the late game from Alliance now could be is really great. And question is if they can come out okay on the laning phase. Obviously, if you can always win with a momentum, no matter having late game or no late game. But yeah, it's a scary team to give momentum right now. That's with Alliance with their lineup.
Yeah.
It's, there's so much synergy
5
and
seconds remaining.
so much potential for going into the late game
Yeah.
against almost all heroes. And it's a good answer to Gyro. Like the whole Lone Druid is a good answer to Gyro.
Yeah, I'm
with Bloodlust.
actually surprised I didn't think of this before because I was going through all these different pocket picks, but this one beats them all. What they love to do in this position here is give Admiral Bulldog the safe lane. They go an aggressive tri-lane of Leshrac, Ogre Magi, so Lone Druid's not going to lose that lane in bottom, ever. He's just in that position. They can even tri-lane aggressively. It just won't work. So in that position, Lone Druid 1v1 safe lane is going to get a lot of farm. On top of that, they put the Empower on the bear, they put the Bloodlust on the bear, and suddenly he goes to town. I'm glad I mentioned the Warlock because that does come into play here. But to finish my thought on Alliance's lineup, they're going to run Ogre Magi Leshrac up top with a powerful disabling carry that we've seen Treant once in the Starladder finals. That was a pretty interesting pickup there. Didn't work out for them. But along with that, they've also run Morana in this composition. So a lot of different interesting styles. I'm curious to see what Loda ends up picking up. But really, really strong, very Alliance-esque draft. But they do go with the Morana.
This is funny. I dislike that they are doing this without having. I do feel like they could have done this short and put this to the off lane and just gotten another late game hero. But this is also okay. The only problem I have with this at the moment is they're contesting against a Coddle. But the offensive trial is really powerful, and Lone Druid wins against the Clockwork no matter what. I've never seen it go the other way around. So yeah, but then again, they're banking on the Lone Druid to be the main carry. And what happened in the start of the finals was that we just killed the bear. We killed we even killed the real Sula bear. We had Bat in that game, and we just killed the bear. And after that, there was no damage coming out for them. And I'm afraid it's going to be the same case if they manage to do that. But the Warlock pick, as you said, you hadn't seen it after the role switch. But that's one of the best pickups they could have done at this point. 'Cause
Honestly.
if they ever do group up, the Fatal Bonds on the bear is one of the best things ever. You can focus the bear and still get so much done. But Gyro and Fatal Bonds,
Yeah,
if they
it's
get that on the
ridiculous.
right heroes,
It's
and on the
really
bear,
badass.
it's messed up. It's so much damage.
It's like doubling the damage, single target. If you hit all 5 heroes linked up
isn't it-
together, it's like 80% increase, so 180%. Just insane output, really.
I think it's even more. I think it goes 5 targets, 20%, 100% increased damage. I think it is 100%
Yeah,
increased damage.
it's definitely either 180% or 200%. On top of that, they go with the Earthshaker, which is pretty solid. But one thing that I really, really, out of all these things, love about the Mirana pickup for their aggressive tri-lane is the fact that she can go Diffusal Blade very early on. That Warlock Golem going to be far less of a factor in this situation. Mirana loves the Diffusal. It suits her pretty well. I mean, it doesn't go with Manta style all that great, but nevertheless, great base stats, great here to pick it up, and in this situation, Warlock won't be nearly as effective. Now, in this position, they are running Universe Clockwork, which like I mentioned, I have not seen, but they're also running Snake King's Warlock, which could open a world of potential. So, Earthshaker, Keep Light, Gyrocopter versus Leshrac, Ogre Magi, Mirana. A lot of disables coming out from Alliance, a lot of damage coming out of Dignitas, and I think really that's going to be the lane to watch. That's going to be really the bloodbath going back and forth up on that top lane there.
I would favor Dignitas lineup if they play it good, and the thing is, if they get caught off once, there is so much potential for the first blood going to Alliance, but if they don't misstep at all, in the long run, Dignitas is going to win this tri-lane since, Coddle Shaker is so much harass. It's generally hard to go on the lane, so positioning's okay, Gyro can be farming, and Shaker should be able to stop any kill happening. But yeah, the harass coming out later on will just be too much for Alliance to handle, I feel.
Mm-hmm. I think both teams are very happy with how the draft came out for their own compositions. Obviously they're not too certain about going up against Dignitas specifically. Like obviously the game isn't in a vacuum. It's very back and forth between these two. In this position here, you mentioned that they have way more teamfight potential for Dignitas. The Fatal Bonds being just so, I don't want to say broken overpowered, but it's borderline there. And along with it, of course, the Chaotic Offering, adding a lot, even if it does get immediately one-shot by Mirana with her Diffusal Blade.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to point out for later on, because the Rock is a serious thing. Like you underestimate. I never remembered it being that much damage. I played Dota 1 and I played HON, and I never thought it was that scary. Then I played Dota 2 and that thing was killing everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Universe Clock off lane, Sneaky Mid Warlock, gonna be interesting, and every lane's just like we predicted, kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I would have liked to see Alliance go for a carry and offlane Bulldog, but then again, Bulldog might have said that I don't want to lane against a Gyro with a bear again. My bear doesn't like him.
Yeah, that's been pretty funny. Actually, his name has switched. He was he obviously was Admiral Bulldog, then he was Captain Bulldog, now he's Private Bulldog. Feels really, really bad about how that last match went, and he kind of self-demoted himself.
That's actually, I didn't know that. That was pretty funny. You need to have some self-irony when it comes to that. If I didn't have self-irony, I would have killed myself after my Mac game.
Oh, your Magnus games? Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
It's something special sometimes. It's just, some heroes really work for some people, and obviously some not so much.
It's just practice, and some hero... but this is really important D-word going. He hasn't missed a single time. Is he gonna... He didn't miss a single time, and he didn't go for the last hit. Come on, man.
What is he doing? I'm not even sure about it right now.
Now they're gonna D-word both.
Yeah.
That was a really important word for Fog to get, though, and now he wastes an Illuminate.
Yeah. And he doesn't have the... he has 3 clarities, so I guess he'll be fine there. But no, this Sentry Ward comes down, and that 6 HP Observer Ward is going to force out a lot more from Dignitas specifically. I mean, Fog will have well, actually, no Sentry Ward right here. Yeah, he does have the second Sentry Ward, but dropping it here in this position means that you can't de-ward your camp. So this pull is going to be unavailable for quite a bit of the laning phase.
Yeah, this is a big problem. I feel like
and
they go middle.
Snake King is so immobile right here. Only level 1, already used his dot, and here is the stuns. There's the Fire Blast, there's the Split Earth, and there's your first blood. S4 taking it to the bank. Already had his bottle on route. Could even just send it back and pick up the boots, but he does miss the last hit, so maybe not. One thing I really love about this composition is Mirana's so survivable in the offlane. She has that leap, and she can get out of a rough patch that they can actually roam with the supports. They have the vision control up on the top rune spawn, and Mirana is able to escape. So in that position, they feel very, very confident in maneuvering around, and now they're going in for more. Looking for some right clicks. Actually, not going to find a kill just yet, but you know, they are such an aggressive group that they can easily make something happen pretty quickly.
I feel like they could get the kill if they start with Ogre Stun, because then there's going to be a 5-second arrow, almost guaranteed. They might have to back off, but I don't feel like they're in...
Actually stunning out way too sexy with the Fire Blast. There's the arrow, but of course way too far off. So unfortunately...
He did it when blast came off. He expected the Lesh follow-up, and then it would have hit, but now...
Oh,
yeah.
EGM in a bad spot now. Owie has that barrage, closing the distance. They do get the stun on Way 2, but the arrow's on cooldown. The splitter will
This
come.
is bad.
There's one kill, and Way 2 not going to receive too much damage, so Ake has to go on the run here, and Owie is actually coming out very far ahead. There is going to be an arrow to lock him down, but, you know, I mean, he wasn't going to do too much from that position anyways. It's a nuisance.
Okay, the lane is not too bad. Actually, Bulldog getting quite low bottom,
Yeah.
but he has a salve, and
Okay, he has 20
Bulldog
regen.
is gonna be dominating this lane in 2 levels.
Exactly.
There's
Level
nothing-
5, suddenly so much stronger.
Yeah. I do feel like they could handle this top lane way better. Not only, I disagree with the lane ward they have. I don't see a reason for it. They need the ward in the forest. They need to see the movement from Ogre and Lesh, because those are the two that are gonna set up the
Yeah.
initial stun and then follow up by arrow. If they have the vision on those two, then Caudle can always go D-ward, go stack, go pull, go do so much more, but the lane ward doesn't really do that much good. And then there was the D-ward waste in the start.
Yeah, it's a very good point to make, honestly. They do get a big Fisher. EGM caught on out. Owie could easily go on top of him, but is afraid of that triple stun combo, so not going to go in
Why
too
don't they
deep.
go
but-
for it?
Yeah, what is going on here? Fog going to take some hits. They already used a split earth, though. There is going to be some rocket barrage damage, but the arrow goes and threads the needle between 2 targets, and instead, they're not going to be any blood spilled just yet.
I don't know why they didn't go for it. There was no way that if Aoi would have went in, there's no way
Yeah.
there would have been enough damage output for him to die from the stun and the arrow and maybe some load attacks. There's no way. It would have been down to 200 health, but he wouldn't have died. That was a free kill.
Yeah, honestly, that was a beautiful Fisher. So strong, but
That
they're
was-
so
yeah, that
concerned
was
as well.
a really good feature. Oh well. Again, it's easy for us to say.
Sure, sure. I mean, there's such a lot of situations, a lot going through their minds, a lot going through their mics in that situation, trying to actually figure out what's the best call to make in that position there. One thing to note on mid is that Snake King has missed a Fatal Bond, so in this position here where he would almost guaranteed a win, a 1v1 matchup versus Magnus, now it's not so sure. It's very, very close, and he's going to take a ton of hits from this, but if he just Bottle Crows, he's going to be able to, I mean, I don't need to tell you this, but a Bottle Crowing is going to allow him to sustain relatively effectively, even if it does take use of the Courier for a good 30 seconds.
I'm wondering why he skill stats though. He wants that fatal bonds as soon as that one target is again, I disagree, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Definitely not. First level gives you the 3 targets, so 1 level stats is gonna help him in laning phase. Oh, I don't know if you caught that one range creep middle. Top, something might happen.
No, not really too much. There's been the pull to the east there, and actually they do get the big stun off. Big damage from Aoi, trying to focus down on Ake, but he's not going to get hit by... Oh, and their arrow will actually connect, just barely, so does hit him on the head, but not going to actually force him back. Nevertheless, the Illuminate was not able to connect, and therefore the Ogre Magi walks away. Only has a couple Tangos left to work with, though. They're actually running out of regeneration extremely swiftly.
Yep. Well, they're gonna be having to deal with a really scary bear later on, buffing it with Empower and Bloodlust. And if Gyro doesn't get the items, I'm not sure if they're actually gonna be able to deal with it.
Yeah. Question making about the decision making for skills for Magnus. Do you prioritize Empower over 3rd and 4th rank of Skewer, or do you still think that's just too strong?
It's a tough one. I would say that he definitely should have skilled 1 level of Empower in the middle lane
for last hitting
both
and
the
such.
last hitting purposes.
Oh,
and
Universe in a
also-
bad spot. He cogs in the bear, but nevertheless taking so many right clicks here. It might be a kill. They need the entangle. Will he get it? Last hit? No, he's not going to get
Oh,
it. Universe
Bulldog,
will
what are
TP.
you doing?
Where is that entangle button? What the heck is wrong with you, man?
That could have been really big for Bulldog.
So big.
That would have been scary, but nonetheless.
He's still doing great on CS. It really is.
Yeah. No, the whole dealing with the bear thing later on is gonna be tough with Gyro not having the greatest game of his life. But yeah, nothing big going down so far. It's all gonna come down to when he gets Rock and the movement from him. Now he's popped the haste and he's running bottom
Yeah.
to Bulldog. Just as I say that, he pops ultimate, but not too much damage between these 2 heroes, but quite a bit. But I don't think there's gonna be enough. Yeah, Bulldog wisely is sitting real far back.
Yeah, and he's not level 7, so the Shadow Word, it's not going to do all that much damage. It does quite a bit, but they don't have the hook shot to lock him in, so during that time period, it's just going to be difficult to deal that much damage, and I don't think this is the gank they should be taking. I think they should move in for a 4 versus
There's
3.
TP support from both Ogre and Mag ready,
Yeah.
so there's no way.
Not at all. And, I mean, if they went in and dropped a rock in a 4 versus 3 engagement, they'd be so much better off. But in this position here... Oh, actually, another tangle forcing out another TP from Universe. What is that about? I kind of thought he would just heal him up over time, but nevertheless, Universe having a very rough day.
They should just not be focusing on this at all.
And Sneaking is in a pretty bad spot, I think.
They
No,
could
he's
have
got the
just
illusions.
grouped up and best of 3 heroes up top if Sneaking would have moved top. I don't think they could def that tower with rock ready. It would not go down in 1 creep wave, but maybe 2 creep waves.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't be a counter kill tower middle, and I feel like they could have just gone for that instead of going for that gank bottom. It's not going to work.
100% agree with you. That's
At
just...
least only Warlock, yeah. Either way, they thought that Bulldog might have walked up, but yeah, he was well aware of the gank coming.
And then Sneaking, like, he couldn't even help Universe in that position. Like, he could maybe heal him, but the entangles are just so strong, and that bear just isn't killable in that position. Private Bulldog actually jumps right back on into his standard druid form, but nevertheless, just really, really understanding of the enemy's positioning and good communication therein. Is he going to get the room before the deny? He is, and a hasted Magnus closes in on to Fog right here. They're not going to drop the rock for this, or are they? The RP comes on down. S4 willing to commit far more ultimates, apparently, and he's able to pick up a kill for himself.
Yeah, that could.
Oh, he actually didn't have mana.
Interesting. He did have mana with the magic stick pop. He had the 3 charges from before.
Sure.
Yeah, now there's going to be a push bottom. There's a double creep wave and a double catapult, and there's a level 1 bloodlust in the bear. And it's going to be not easy to defend, but Clock is at least there to be able to pull the creep aggro away. But he still needs to watch out. If Bulldog gets more of those entangles, then they might end up giving a kill along with the tower.
Bringing down very, very quickly. Battle Cry up, Bloodlust, that just chews on through so quickly. Demolish is amazing. But of course, we do see the Keeper Light Illuminate. That is powerful counter push in of itself. Question is whether or not it'll be enough. The tower dropping down to 200 HP. They're focusing the bear. Battery Assault popped off, but still not level 6 to close the distance. Looking for the cogs. He gets the Illuminate, but there's the stun from Ake. He hit level 6. Goes for the hook shot. Blocks it down. Really good. Really good for them. I don't think they needed that Warlock Golem, though. The cogs should have been enough. What do you think?
Well, if Mirana would have ulted earlier, then
yeah.
Let's see what level is she. She could have ulted earlier, and Bulldog would have actually survived.
Sure. A couple of different factors there.
Top.
Yeah, S4 coming on in. He does get the skewer off on Owie. That is going to be big cooldown damage, but even bigger killing spree for S4. Just being able to burst him down quickly with those 2 spells, and actually forcing out the TP as well from the Earthshaker, who just really couldn't contribute in that scenario.
Yep. At least Bulldog still has a new bear, and now the ultimates are down for Dignitas, but I still think they should have taken a tower while they could.
Yeah.
Because now Alliance, they have a really nice team to trade towers with. There's so much pushing power in the Lesh, and actually Lesh didn't even go for
No, he didn't go
Edict,
Edict at all, interestingly enough. Yeah. In this position here, I guess it's understandable in the sense that if they get good polarities, they want to follow it up with AoE magic damage, so Lightning would work very well in that scenario, but of course it does limit their split push, and they're pretty much putting it all on the bear.
Yep, but it is still a scary thing, and Dignitas doesn't have an obvious answer to it. Like a Bane nerfs it, a Naix can be really good against it. Later on, it's not the best, it's not the thing you really want. You don't want to rely on the bear alone when you have that much damage potential coming from a Gyro and Warlock and stuff. But now they're trying to commit something without the rock. Gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again, Hookshot and Cogs, even rank 1, is extremely powerful, but without the Golem, it's going to be hard to find that damage. And of course, there is the rotation.
Oh, they're grouping up. They should give up this tower. I think it's scary. Mac can TP in, but it's still a scary situation.
TP coming up, 2 seconds. Bulldog can get out of there, but instead it looks like they want to fight. Unfortunately, they don't realize they're up against 5 here. So if they go in on this position here, see an opportunity for Jar, no, they just go for the Shockwave. If he skewer and ultied on top of that, it would have been disastrous for them.
Yeah, I think they realized it more. That's why he TP'd that early. If he would have been TP'd after Bulldog got initiated on, it would have been bad. But doing it now, grouping up before, so making other TPs come faster as well.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do to def this. But yeah, they actually got a tower top for it.
Yeah,
so,
Loda's just been pushing away. And it's not something you'd expect, but it'll work. It'll definitely do when push comes to shove. So in that kind of position, they're pinning in the individuals down here. They find out the bear. They're going to go for the kill on it. Cogs on through. It is doing some right-click damage, but it still is going to be dropped down to only 500 HP. And with a good Fisher block, they could have actually finished it off. But I don't know. Iowa finally finds it out. he will be able to finish it off. 100 gold bounty in that direction. However, Ake trapped inside the cogs. They will be able to dish out a lot of damage here. They use that ultimate, but unfortunately, Shadow Word, he's going to die to the damage over time. Magic Stick, no, I don't think it's going to be enough. He's just going to take so much damage there. He pops the Magic Stick, so close, he will fall. Last dot comes out. There is the RP, though. 3-man RP, setting it up. EGM following up that lightning damage so much, and the Entangle Pot comes through. They even pick up the Keep of the Light. Universe will get on out of here, but nevertheless, they did lose the Ogre Magi, but they turned around for a 4-man swing. Really, really, really strong. That was the polarity they were looking for.
That's as for Mag. He always gets these RPs off. I don't want to say that he gets lucky and other teams cluster when he plays Mag, but they're clustering like that. They know Mirana ult is ready, and yeah, that's
Yeah, they pull on in. Universe, he's trapping the cogs, but with a double damage as forward. Nevertheless, the big damage coming out from that Fatal Bonds, from the Warlock Golem. They turn around, bring down Magnus, the Bear taking so many hits, and Bulldog will drop with him. So they get 2 kills in return, but they did lose their tier 1. Was destroyed by Lone Druid, and they're going to be able to try to turn around. No! Beautiful hook shot. They had the Observer Ward on the high ground. Creeps chasing it down, and Universe is just point and click. Find that ultimate, find the flare to finish the job. And now, we talked about a 3-man swing in favor of Alliance, but now they lose 3 heroes for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I don't know why they felt that going for that tower was such a good idea, and committing a blink and a skewer to getting a clock into you is scary, but yeah, they could have done that if Rock wasn't up, because the whole Rock Fatal Bonds combo, everyone has to run. If they try to fight it, they're all gonna die even quicker. Like, you're helping people by running away, because yeah, staying in there when Gyro has things running like the flag cannon and so on. But yeah, good job by Dignitas really, and questionable skewer, but once he started casting it, there's no going back. I think he wanted the what's it called, the shaker instead of the clockwork, but clockwork ended up being lucky number 1.
Yep, so they do get another stack off on the Ancients. This will help out Gyrocopter quite a bit in burning things out. I don't know if they were in Vision. I think they were just outside of Vision. Maybe they know what's up, but it looks like not, because Snakekin, going for a little rune, actually finds an entire team. And now he is completely screwed over. A big Illuminate to come on out, but not really going to stop them from getting this position. They find the Ancients. They have Bloodlust and Power, and the question is whether or not they want to do something about it. They have a Bear. I really think they kind of should, but obviously, it's a difficult decision to make up against such a powerful teamfight lineup.
I think it's impossible for them to take a Roche at this point with Shaker, with Shaker Coddle. No. A tower may be possible if they do it properly, especially now that Rock is down. But yeah, I still would like to see a bit more anti-invis coming out of Dignitas instead of just from the Coddle. Like, they can buy dust from Coddle, put it on different heroes. Bottom, they want to go. Yeah,
they did pop off that ultimate. EGM has his opening, but realizes that it's just a bigger bite than he wants to chew. So in this situation, he just falls back, and pretty good for him in that situation. And that's what you can do with the Moonlight Shadow, is you can kind of make a decision how you want it to play out, how you want the next engagement to kind of follow on through, because you have the vision, they don't, which is something you were just talking about. Fog is the only one with sentries, and that's one thing, is a lot of people playing as Mirana don't respect the fact that she provides such utility in that invisibility.
It's a really powerful spell. It's something that you pick it and you're gonna say that good teams should know how to play against it, but when you play against it once every half a year, then of course you're not gonna always be used to it as if you played against it every game. But yeah, Pot multi, more than one use, and it almost always gonna end up forcing a gem out, especially once you hit 16.
Yep, actually, Loden and Ruff's patch right here, going on in, they get the Fisher, they get the hook shot, and they burst her down. She does get the leap at the last second, though, and he already forced out all his cooldowns. Oh my goodness.
I don't know why he committed the hook right then, though. He could have
waited a moment.
Battery and then tried for the hook later on, because that thing is risky. It was too close to call, though.
Yeah.
I guess. Middle.
It's really rough. Now, I actually don't know this mechanic. Cog's interaction with leap. If she leaps over, does she still get hit?
I'm pretty sure you would still get hit, yes. Because every other thing I've tried, you get hit by. Like sometimes it even happened to me when I played Storm, even though it shouldn't.
Yeah, of course not. No, I guess, in that situation, it kind of seems like if they had used the cogs, that would have been a kill. But either way, Timing of the ultimate, a lot of it's very, very difficult to judge in that situation. I think it was a great pick-off to go for. It just, the numbers didn't add up, and that's unfortunate.
It was too close to call. You can't, like, yeah. But a safer way would have tried, not a safer way necessarily, but a different way would have been trying to bait out the leap and then hooking afterwards, leaving no escape mechanism left.
But then you're going deep into enemy territory, and that's bit them in the ass a little bit previously.
It's still an off lane for the tri lane farmer. I think I would try it for the chance to survive as well. But
they get a D ward off, I think. No, actually, that's just barely out of range, so they're not going to actually see that observer ward, which is unfortunate. It's great placement from Alliance, and very, very unfortunate for Dignitas not being able to check that out.
Yep. So they know where they're top. What?
Did not catch that, actually. Did they commit the roof relay? They did indeed. Yeah. They found the Blink RP on Gyrocopter all by himself, and, you know, when you commit that much to a single hero, he's going to drop down.
I'm not a big fan of this drums build on Gyro, because you commit so much to an item that doesn't give you what you want on Gyro, in my opinion. Like, I think the only thing you want on Gyro is, if you're not building BKB for magic immunity, you're building damage, or you're building lifesteal. Like, you should probably get the damage before the lifesteal.
Sure. And
drums doesn't give you, it gives you the max HP. I'm not a fan of it. But a lot of Gyro players choose to go for it, so obviously not the worst item in the world, but
yeah, it's pretty much, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't accomplish all that you want to intend. It's a nice build-up item, but that's just that it's a half an item. It doesn't really change the pace of the game. It doesn't change how you interact with other heroes, and so you get some great stats. He loves movement speed. He loves a little bit of extra durability, a little bit of extra attack damage. Even some mana can go a pretty long way, but it just doesn't change his current situation, which is very far behind that of the Lone Druid, in my opinion.
I'm quite interested in Lotus item build, the Maelstrom. Arrow.
Hit the creep.
Was such a nice try, though.
Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been really good, but obviously just having a little bit of extra HP left on it.
The thing is, he survived, clock stutter step, and actually attacked slower than if he would have just auto-attacked, so him making a mistake just made him live.
Inefficiency strong.
But yeah, Lotus item build scales more with Bloodlust. You could argue that the Fuchsia also scales with Bloodlust, but this is still more damage. I would have still liked to see the Diffuser for the rock.
Yeah, now we're seeing a guest Helm the Dominator come out for her. That's a little interesting.
Afterwards?
Yeah.
Really? Is it coming on the chick for her? Really?
Yeah, well, the Morbid Mask at the very least. So yeah, she's going to be moving that direction, and that's kind of interesting in my opinion.
Mask of Madness, I'm calling it now.
I would.
I'm not even kidding. I'm calling Mask of Madness.
They have a Bloodlust buff. They have a Maelstrom. I don't really. I mean, obviously, you're the pro player. I'm not. But holy crap, I honestly don't agree with that decision, in my opinion, at all.
I think Dominator is worthless for her.
Sure, I mean, Dominator's not great, but Mask of Madness seems almost detrimental in some situations. Speaking of, a Universe jumping on in, Ake gonna get interrupted, no chance to TP there. What do you think, man? Battery Assault, locking him in place, and he drops down underneath the Sentry to the Illuminate. S4 thinks he actually can jump on in, but instead they have vision of him. The Fisher messes up. I think they wanted it to the north, but nevertheless trying to close on top of him. Won't find their opportunity. Loda getting a stun on Universe, but the Maelstrom not providing enough damage yet, and the heal over time sets him right back up to top. So in this situation, they just get a single pickoff, despite a lot of them batting eyelashes and I guess providing a little bit more bark than bite.
Was that EGM's gem, or was that one they purchased? I can check in the shop, I guess.
Yeah, you can check it out there. It looks like it was purchased by Fogged himself. So
yeah, it was purchased by them. Okay.
I was just about to say, what was I looking at? The mechanism pickup for Magnus and that of Clockwork. They're going to be able to pick those up at relatively similar time periods, so it's not going to change too much, but I think that more often than not, actually both heroes are designed to be right in the thick of things, so both of them are going to have great opportunities to pop those off. But who do you think wins out in a longer fight duration? I kind of feel that the Warlock puts out so much more potential with the Golem actually right-clicking away, especially since he's going to have his Aghanim's pretty soon.
You're talking about Warlock and the Mag?
I'm thinking of who benefits more from a longer fight, instead of like a quick kill, kind of like a 5v5 that goes over an extra, let's say, 5 more seconds than previous.
Well, I would say, if I was Dignitas, I would prefer to catch 5 people clustered and get all your spells out on those 5 people. Whereas if you're Alliance, you can work around the Bear. The Bear is that tanky and that's scary for a reason, and it's not gonna instant kill anyone. The Bear never instant kills anyone. You never see that. It's just a constant nuisance. So I would say the longer the fight, the better for Alliance, simply because of the Bear. And Flag kind of won't have much use if they position themselves properly and Bear gets to hit. but it's still gonna be like super late game. There is ways to like, you just kill the bear if he tries to, only send the bear in and fight around that. But yeah, Dignitas lineup very scary. If you get that combo once, you're gonna evaporate in 1 second.
Yep. So right now, Morana's sitting on 1,500 gold. Loda, either saving for buyback or going for something beyond, like a couple different lifesteal items we were talking about. Could it just be a casual Morbid Mask? Does that make any sense?
It makes sense if he doesn't want to go back to base. Not bad for that purpose. 900 gold, you get the life, so you can keep on farming, and Maelstrom is already good for farming. Like it would increase the farm rate and farm potential of him. So it's not bad to get casual. I would still get the mom for that purpose. Like you get it for farming, but you have the potential to also use it in the fight.
Yeah, you don't have to use it by any means. So I mean, the 1,000 gold isn't that costly in that situation. I can make sense of it at the very least.
Yeah. There's worse things you could have bought. Diffusal is an orb effect now, though, right? So you can't lifesteal and diffusal.
No, not at all.
I mean, I'm hunt trash, so I sometimes forget about that.
Sure enough. Yeah, pretty much. The Maelstrom is okay because it takes priority, but only when it procs.
Yeah, Shaker, what are you doing, Shaker? Shaker, get
This
out
is
of
awkward.
there.
Going in, Clockwork jumps on top of S4. He has to skewer down the cliff, but he still has that Blink Dagger available. They go on in. They get an RP on all three. Snaking won't drop the rock. Instead, they all fall. And in the AR, he does get he does use it, but that's a gigantic cooldown he just threw on the ground. It was even worse to drop than not getting the opportunity to do so. Either way, they just got obliterated. Clockwork jumped in on the Magnus, who could just skewer on out, and he did exactly that. In that position, Earthshaker wasn't in a great spot to make anything happen, and once S4 found his window, they certainly took it there. So they were able to bring so much down, and yeah, that was very, very awkward very, very quickly. And with this bear, with the big damage coming out on this bear, they might be able to take racks in time, especially since they don't have to worry about the ultimate. They get a multicast on Keeper Light. I'm not even sure what he thought he was doing there, but nevertheless, gets dropped down. Or did he get blink skewered, and I didn't catch that?
He got blink skewered.
Okay. Nevertheless, these racks are pretty much dead in my opinion. Arrow on way too sexy. He's going to get right-click down so darn swiftly, and S4 picks up yet another kill.
Yeah, that's a GG call.
Really?
That
really?
was a bit of a, yeah, but that fight, like it started bad, but every decision after the fight was also bad. Like, it's hard to say if the Clockwork initiation was the worst thing in the fight, but then you have the Shaker being in bad position just to begin with, and you get 3-man RP'd again. That's second time in this game.
Sure.
And you drop the rock. Okay, sure. Then they get racks.
Wow.
But then they also kill the Coddle. Like kill the Coddle before the racks, and then someone gets arrowed, and that was from bad to badder to worse.
Yeah.
To worse. This it was a sad ending of the game, but
yeah, very anticlimactic, but it kind of makes sense. In this situation here, it was getting harder and harder for Dignitas to come out. The Gyrocopter only had two, I would say, non-game-changing items. The Shadow Blade, the Drum, they're fine if you're on the offensive. They're fine if you're finding the kills and you want to make things happen, but 16-7, just so darn favoring of Alliance, the Gyrocopter needs to go for carry, and in that sense, he just couldn't really commit, and he couldn't really make anything happen. S4 taking a lot of hits, but I guess I shouldn't call the action anymore, since the good game has been called. In that situation, that big RP, Universe left his team out to dry, because once Universe ran on in, they were in a terrible choke point. They were in a position here where they were like clustered up within 200 units of each other. They had to run down this narrow corridor. It's like walking the gauntlet. And in that situation, Magnus, all he had to do was wait 3 seconds for his blink to come back up, and he was back in the fray. And so he jumped on in, he got that RP, and I think the thing that honestly sealed their fate was the dropping of the Chaotic Offering. If they had Chaotic Offering for the next respawn, they might have been able to make something happen. By dropping it on 5 heroes and it dying immediately, it's a 1 second stun that does 100 damage. Like, you didn't accomplish anything. And it kind of feels like the ending what Dignitas was talking about. Aoi 2000 was on, I'm trying to remember, Much Ado About Dota last night, and he was talking about how or it was way before, but I watched it last night because it was on YouTube. Anyways, but what the ending of the DreamHack qualifier was that the they felt Snake King should have TP'd back and dropped his Brewmaster ultimate to disable so they could go for the base race successfully, just, throw the bear up in the air or something.
Oh, that was the anticlimactic game ending as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty climactic for some, but I don't know. In others, it was just like, oh, all of a sudden, Ancient falls.
Yeah, but it wasn't even close, right? Like, it wasn't a close base race. It was very one-sided base race.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, they were great RPs, they were great splitters, but in that situation, what happened was that Snake King popped off his ultimate in the base to burn down towers quickly, and that's not what you use a Panda ulti for. So, in that position, he obviously couldn't TP back after he had made that decision, and so they just wailed away on the Ancient until it was done. Good move from the Magnus and the Leshrac, and this kind of feels like a little bit of a remake of that situation, because again, I don't want to blame it entirely on him, but Snake King dropping that chaotic offering pretty much made it so they could not defend the racks subsequently, and once they were down by so many kills by the racks, they might as well call it. It seemed just out of nowhere, but that is a Murano with a Mjolnir. That is a Spirit Bear dishing out a ton of damage with a Bashker and an Armlet, and they're just going to get bigger and bigger now that the lands are continuously pushing in. So yes, it came out of nowhere, but it was all building up to that over the past 26 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have any other thoughts?
That third game, very interesting.
Do you have any other thoughts on closing that one out?
Nothing else than, well, I like the idea from Alliance. I like the offensive trident from them. It's a scary thing to go up against, and solid lanes from them, having a mag mid and obviously the Sula bottom, who caused them a lot of trouble.
So, in this position here, that the end result is that Dignitas loses and Alliance moves on forward. They take the series 2-1, and that actually makes it a lot simpler for us. What it means is that as a result of the rankings and the head-to-head matchup that was between Empire and Virtus Pro, that Team Liquid's ranked first, the second ranking goes to Fnatic, and then third, I'm actually not sure who won between No Tide and VP, but I think it was No Tide, so they would be jumping into third, and then from there Virtus Pro takes up fourth. It actually makes it very, very clear-cut and dry that that's what's going to be coming in next weekend. So what we're going to do next is go on to a segment, one of my favorite segments called Ask the Pros. Although we've enjoyed your commentary very much, we're going to be calling in somebody from Alliance to kind of break down a little bit what they thought about the match as well. So one last question before we go out and do shoutouts is, how do you feel about this coming playoffs? How do you feel about this next weekend going up against the teams I just listed?
Well, everyone knows that number 2 is the real winner, so I don't mind being seeded second at all. And it's going to be very interesting. And well, hoping for the best, hoping we can get a bit of practice before, because we need it at the moment. But overall, it looks like it's going to be a really nice playoffs. And yeah,
sure,
hoping for good games.
Definitely. Well, this was a pretty solid match. I love the first and second game. This third game, obviously, 26-minute win can never always be as epic as you want it to be, but nevertheless, solid play by Alliance, and they definitely won convincingly here. So that was really, really nice from them. Do you have any shoutouts you want to give before we conclude?
Same old, Radora, my stream at Twitch TV, Fnatic No-Tail, and my team. And shout out to you, Blaze, for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. My pleasure, 100%. I mean, great to have your insight on this specifically, and I would definitely wish you the best of luck in the playoffs, which, will be coming in just a few days, so that's going to be interesting. Hopefully you're ready for it. Probably Friday is going to be the first match there, and we'll see exactly how that'll play out. But awesome to cast with you, and for you viewers, thank you guys so much for tuning on into this. This is going to be the last season game for Season 4 of the Premier League, and what a match. So Alliance taking it away, and now, like I said, on either you can check it out on the premierleague.eu/TPLTV, or you can check it out on twitch.tv/the Premier League. Either way, we're going on into Ask the Pros to see what one of the members of No Tidehunter, aka Alliance, have to say about the game. But either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and again, thank you No-Tail for coming on. If you guys want to check me out specifically, twitter.com/blazecasting is where I put up all the information for my upcoming casts. And, do different work for different organizations there. But either way, this was an awesome game, awesome match, and going on into the interview in just a minute. Thanks for coming on, No-Tail.
Thank you, man. Goodbye.
See you.